This NBA season has already been a doozy, and it has given us even more gifts as the Detroit Pistons have made themselves known as quite literally one of the worst NBA teams of all time. Now, everybody made their videos and tweets about when they were on their historic losing streak, and for good reason. The team was pretty much terrible through and through, but if you could look past their record, you could see the makings, small makings, of a team that had a future. I mean, Cade made a pretty big leap this season, and it only looks to get better as Killian Hayes was finally banished to the Shadow Realm, which means that Jaden Ivey can finally get playing time to show why he was such a great player in college, and another high draft pick in Asar Thompson is giving them the makings of something. The Pistons actually have something. They could do something similar to the Thunder this year in maybe a year or two and putting together a real contender, but obviously it's easier to see a team that had one of the worst losing streaks in all of sports history as having a pretty bleak future, which is pretty fair. Except, they're not really the worst team in the league. What if I told you there was a team that is worse than the Pistons this year? I mean, that would be kind of blasphemous considering what they've already put forth on the table, but let me tell you something. There is a team that is one game ahead of the Pistons right now. They have one more win and one less loss than the Detroit Pistons right now. If you've caught up with the media, you probably wouldn't even know this fact, as they've pretty much used the Pistons as a scapegoat this season, but somehow this other team has escaped under the radar somehow, and I'm not really sure how, because at some point Kyle Kuzma made a tweet saying don't be that team in regards to being the team who loses to the Pistons among their gigantic losing streak. Now, he said this like the Washington Wizards are not 9-45 right now at the All-Star break. What's the Pistons record? 8-46. So why hasn't anyone been talking about this? I mean, yeah, the Wizards are like the poverty franchise of all poverty franchises, which is honestly probably why nobody's talking about it. But the Wizards are historically bad this year, just like the Detroit Pistons. Yeah, they didn't have their crazy losing streak, but they have won one more game than this Pistons squad. There is a potential reality where the Pistons don't even end the season as the worst statistical team in the NBA because the Washington Wizards are also so bad. And if I'm being honest, the Wizards are cooked. Their future is the opposite of bright. Their future is bleak, my brother. They are cooked. Because let's talk about the big elephant in the room. Jordan Poole, the generational bag finesser. If you want to finesse bags, you should be like Jordan Poole. Now, many who aren't into basketball might be pretty shocked that Poole has gone from a pretty major contributor on a championship team to basically the worst player in the league in such a short time. But if you know the game of basketball, you know that it is not that surprising, because Poole was quite literally the worst player in the league his rookie year, then worked his way from the G League back to the Dubs. He got a huge extension after playing a major part in their championship season, which many basketball fans knew was a bad idea, and now he's putting up all-time terrible stat lines on the Wizards after getting traded. The guy's averaging 15 a game on 39% from the field and 29% from the three. He is an unreal negative 11.2 net rating and has been benched in the fourth quarter at times as well because he just is terrible. I mean, the guy just doesn't have it anymore. And this all-time terrible guard play is one of the many reasons why the team not only has nearly the worst record in the league, but pretty much no future either due to his huge contract. Now, the Washington Wizards would probably be the most poverty franchise ever if they hadn't won championships way back in the day, because since then they have done quite literally nothing. Since, the John Wall and Bradley Beal days, that was pretty much their last gasp of relevancy. Now, the Pistons are easily a better franchise, but we're not really comparing franchises. They have run into a bit of a dry period, but their future is as bright as the sun compared to the Wizards. Let's be honest for a second. But let's talk about the next domino on an already terrible roster, and that's Kyle Kuzma. Now, this is the thing about Kyle Kuzma. He's actually posting career highs in a couple different stats. he's actually not the problem. But he is sort of the problem because just like Tyus Jones, he's so good that he might end up getting traded off the team. And if Kuzma was not on this team, I guarantee you we would be talking about the Washington Wizards and the Detroit Pistons being tank off. They literally would be amidst a tank off, a generational one at that. They'd probably both go on a 20-game losing streak because Kuzma is pretty good. I wouldn't say he could be a number one option on a team. He probably is a really solid 3 guy, but he is so good that he has almost been traded off the team. He, as a matter of fact, recently rejected a trade to the Mavs due to wanting to stay and build something in DC, which is a good thing for the franchise because he is literally their only superstar caliber. I put that loosely. He, has the potential to be an all-star. I'll say all-star caliber player. And Jones, who also was really good, who might find himself on a different team by a trade, there's a likelihood where this Wizards team has no talent. And it's even worse, as Gafford was recently traded, who was leading the team in both rebounds and blocks, leaving the team with few bright spots as a whole. From what I have heard from lurking in the subreddits, there are some bright spots, with Denny and Bilal being their pretty much 2 prized young guys. Denny actually posted a career-high 43-point, 14 rebound, and 6 assist game, while Bilal is posting solid rookie numbers with 8.3 points per game and 4.1 rebounds in around 27 minutes. While they will undoubtedly be in the running for another top pick this year, they still have no general direction, no number 1 pick to build around, and don't have a massive haul of picks and drafting prowess of teams like the Thunder. So let me ask you this question. Who do you think is really the worst team in the NBA? Well, only time will tell. But as always, take it easy. Thanks for watching. Peace.